Political coordinator, Mr. Art Zeckler, to come up. All right, gentlemen, the only thing I want to say, let's be good sports here, treat each other with respect, but let's have a good time tonight.
Good evening, Boys State.
Good evening, sir.
Tonight we have the convention for the Nationalist and the Federalist parties. Tonight is one of the most special nights for Mountaineer Boys State. Tonight you're going to choose who's going to lead you. Take this evening very seriously when you cast your vote. Now, this evening we will allot 25 minutes for each party. It's first rule. Second rule, it'll start as soon as the first noise comes out of the first presenter. And yes, as Brandon said, please be respectful of those individuals that are coming up here to present. It takes a lot of courage to come up here, and they need that respect and support. Now, if I'm correct, we begin with the Federalist Party, correct? Are you ready? Now, where's the Federalist Party chairman? Come on up. You're going to have 25 minutes. You're going to begin as soon as your first noise starts. Your timekeeper. Gentlemen, oh. Huh? I need to say something. Hold up, gentlemen.
We'll play it later. Don't worry, we got it.
Just hold up a second. You're going to have a timekeeper here in the front. Taryn is going to be holding up how many minutes is going to be left. You're going to start with 25 minutes, and she will bring up a sign when you're at 15, 10, 5, and 0. You ready? Okay. It's all yours.
Show respect. I want to make that mention. Okay? Now, let's get on to the convention. To all you Federalists out here, we have worked hard the past few days to get our candidates elected, and we are showing unity. And to all you national, you guys have worked so hard as well to get your candidates on the ballot. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on. So we've worked very difficult here, guys. And now it's time for us to be united. Now it's time for you guys to be united. And it's time for us to be united to make the Mountaineers Boys State. That's what it's time for right now. So to start my convention off, I'm going to have our keynote speaker, Nathan, will come up here. He's going to explain to everyone what our platform is, and he's going to give you guys a little bit of information about us. Nathan?
Okay, my My name is Nathan Nichols, and I'm from the Braxton Cottage. I've been asked to speak about our Federalist Party platform. So this is how it goes, and I'm going to go one by one and then have a small little thing afterward. One of the first things that our party stands for is the reduction of social programs. This includes social programs that are being abused by people around the state, and this can be any type of person that you can think of. We want to cut these programs in order to support the financial programs of our state. Another thing is enforcing the Constitution. We have instilled in all of our candidates that they will enforce the Constitution wherever they can, and for all people, not just the Nationalist Party, not just for our party, for everyone. The next thing is we want better funding for the EMS, security forces, and National Guard. This is needed to ensure our democracy, to ensure everyone has the rights and liberties that have been given to them in the United States Constitution and the West Virginia State Constitution. The next thing is cracking down on opioid epidemic and illegal substances. Now this can be interpreted in many different ways, but our party is about uniting everyone, not just our party. We are united. Isn't that right, Federalists? Yeah! And the Nationalists, I'm sure, are united well, but we are all equal. If you look around, all of us have yellow shirts. We are all under the same democracy. Tonight, we are out of the primaries. We are for our general election. We are here to vote people who will unite all of us, which is something our party stands for. The two biggest important things are uniting the state and equality for all. Of course, equality is for everyone. Anyone, regardless of your sexual orientation, sex, race, anything, we are all equal under our democracy. And we want to unite the state overall. And this includes both parties. Our candidates are ensured to not just protect the rights of the Federalist Party and defend our platform, but to also be here for you Nationalists, to unite all of us to be under one democracy, united. Our candidates want to listen to everyone in this room. We are not just for Federalists. We are for everyone. That is what our party stands for. Thank you.
Okay, now next up on our agenda, we're going to have our attorney, candidate for attorney come up here and give his remarks, all right? So can I please have Joshua Tarosky come up here? Give a hand for Joshua!
Citizens of Boise State, my name is Joshua Tarosky, and I'm a Federalist nominee for Attorney General. I'm running for Attorney General because I believe in fair treatment of all citizens of Boise State, Federalists and Nationalists, and I believe in upholding a fair treatment of the law and defense of the state in all court cases, and I believe in protecting the law at all costs. I'm here for the people, each individually and as a whole. I have been a defense attorney in mock trials. I am treasurer of student council, National Honor Society member, Interact and Rotary Club member. I've spoken with the mayor about several things in our state. So I'm well qualified, I'm hardworking, I'm here for the people, I'm here for the interests of the citizens of Boise State, what you guys need. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh, for those words. Next, we're going to have our treasurer speak to you guys. He's going to talk a little about himself. Eric, and his name I cannot pronounce, but Eric, come on up here. Eric, where are you? Oh, there he is. Okay. Let's get up for Eric!
So as you heard, I'm Eric Krishani, running for Federalist candidate of the Treasury. First, I'm going to tell you a little about myself. I know I told the Federalists my qualifications already. I run 2 Treasury positions in my school. As long as my real job outside of Boise State, I'm a cash register, so I handle $1,000 a day, like multiple thousands of dollars a day. I'm constantly handling money. I have decent finances. I always have my bank checked and balanced. So I want to kind of go over our platform and tell you how my role is going to help each one. So the first one, we have the reduction of social programs. I know that's a big thing for a lot of people because they're worried about it. You know, what programs are you taking away? What are you going to reduce funding on? Mainly, I think welfare. I don't want to reduce it. I want to reduce it and expand it. I want to reduce the people who are taking advantage of it and expand it to a larger area of people so more people can get help and it help the middle class a little bit more. Enforcing the Constitution. This kind of goes with the next one too. Better funding for our emergency service people, our National Guard, and our security officers. We need to get them better funding so they can support the Constitution, enforce the law, and make sure everyone, high and low, can take full responsibility for their actions. Four, a big thing in West Virginia, the drug epidemic. It may not seem like a big deal, but I work at a gas station. The amount of people that come in there on drugs, we've had people overdose on heroin in the parking lot. It's a big problem. We even get warned when we get hired that if we're trained in trash cans, we need to watch out for needles. It's a common problem. And you don't know until you get out there and you start experiencing some of it. Fifth and sixth go together, unity and equality. That's kind of just basic. We're all human beings. We're all men here. We're all ready to mature and be equal to everyone. And I'm going to help fund those programs, get more social programs out there, more public programs, and enforce everything to help everyone get along. I have qualifications. I don't want to just run on the Federalist platform, though. I want to make sure I can get the Federalists and the Nationalists to vote for me. I think this role is very important, and I think I can help both sides and help everyone get a better life.
Thank you, Eric. Next up, we're gonna have our auditor come up here and talk to you guys. So let's have Jack Stryker come on up. There he is.
How you guys doing? So a little bit about myself. I'm from Wheeling, West Virginia. And I'm running for auditor. And if you don't know what auditor is, you can find it in your handbook, page 54. I know it's a position not many people know about, but basically, in a short summary, you're kind of in charge of taxes as well as determining the legality and the necessity of different departments' budgets and how they're using their money, making sure they're using it properly and within the guidelines of the Constitution and what our legislators want them to use it for. And I will do that. I am treasurer of Spanish Honor Society in my school. I've been class president. And part of it, being auditor, is also you have to be a team player. Because a lot of what you're doing is working with the treasurer. And I will work with the treasurer even if it's a federalist or nationalist. And I really love working with people. And I really think I'm the best option for this position. So thank you very much. And one more question. Does anyone here cut grass? I cut grass! That's all I have to say. If you cut grass, I cut grass. You know how hard it is to work in grass? Cut grass all day, and it's hard work. And if you love hard work, vote for me, Jack Stryker. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. That was wonderful. Okay, next on the list, guys, we're gonna have Federalists. Remember I told you guys we show respect, all right? Yes. Guys, next on the list will be Secretary of State Jacob. I'm gonna get this right. Bedekovich. Bedekovich, get up here. Secretary of State.
What's up, guys? I'm Jacob Bedekovich. I'm from Williamstown, West Virginia, Monroe Cabin. I would run as your Secretary of State. I will make sure the government stays organized, and I will do all in my power to protect the rights of the citizens, regardless of if you are blue or you're red. I'll be your governor's right-hand man, and I've been working tirelessly since I arrived to serve as your Secretary of State. I have dedicated my time, and now I will dedicate myself to serve you. One of the pillars of the Federalist Party is not only unity, but state unity. I will work with all members of our government to defend the Constitution and defend you. I don't see reds and blues. I don't see Federalists and Nationalists. I only see boys, state citizens who deserve to have their rights upheld.
Thank you, Jacob. Now next, man, you all know. Let's have Dad come up here and give his little speech.
Let Dad make his point. Shut up. Alright. Word from the wives from dear old Dad, don't sprint impaired. Alright, a father is a provider and a breadwinner, and I as your dad would like to provide for you as your Commissioner of Agriculture, because I'm a food on the table kind of guy. There is a lot more to Commissioner of Agriculture than just putting food on the table through agriculture. I do have administrative experience through JROTC. I'm the outgoing Command Sergeant Major for my battalion, incoming battalion commander. So I can run things, I hope. But anyways, I have a good head on me for natural resources. I want to work for clean energy while keeping our coal miners employed so we can phase that out, work them into clean energy. And I wish all you candidates the best of luck, and don't forget, Dad for Ag.
Okay, so for all you nationals out there who are super confused, his name is Wayman. All right, that's his name. Please vote for Wayman. Okay, so before I move it on to our introducers for the KW, I like to make a few words. So for you nationals out here, I want you to look at that wall over there. You can see there's blue stuff over it, and you go up front, there's a banner up top, right? And I can tell you a few more things about our party. I can tell you that we have an emergency fund going on now. I can tell you that we have a list of lawyers that are ready to defend us. Now, this really does not matter to you guys, except for the fact, you know what that shows? That shows we have organization. That shows that our candidates are organized. That shows that people who support them are supported. Whenever we get into office, we will be organized. We'll get crap done. I like to say that word, but I can't. We will get crap done. These guys, we have ads. We got stuff done. We can raise things. We will support, we will represent you guys, and we will get stuff done. Now, moving on to our platform. I know some of you guys may not agree. Oh, I'm sorry, back up, my bad. So for the reduction of welfare, you know, I'm gonna let our governor actually speak about that, because that is his job. I'm just part of the chairman. So I want to have Jaron come on up here, and he's going to introduce our governor.
Alright, so I've prepared a speech. Ladies and gentlemen present and gentlemen of Boy State, to quote President Ronald Reagan, it is a time for choosing. But to be honest, at the end of the day, we are all West Virginians, and above all, we are Americans. Now soon you will be presented with Angelo's speech, and he will give you the facts and basic truths which we can all build upon and build a strong state. He will not only be a man of the people, but to paraphrase George Herbert Walker Bush, our 41st president, every citizen should have absolute control over his destiny and the activity of his state. This is what Angelo will give us. So without wasting any more time and any further ado, our next governor, Angelo.
State. All right. Now, I'm the nominee of one of the major two parties for
governor of Boise State. I started my campaign 2 days ago. I ran a grassroots campaign and I was an underdog for my primary nomination. But against all odds, this morning when we all woke up, I had been selected as my party's nominee. And I want to keep that momentum going into tonight because we are up against a big machine. I started my campaign 2 days ago, as I said. I haven't been groomed for this position. And what I also want to address is the effect that we have here will go beyond Boise State. Whoever we elect as governor is going to be uniquely positioned to push for legislation that will be forwarded to the actual West Virginia State Legislature. Now, I've been trying to unite our state by listening to a broad range of ideas, regardless of party. What I've heard mentioned most as I've spoken to all of you today is the opioid epidemic. I will resolve this crisis by providing more educational and economic opportunity to the people of this state, which will also have the effect of stemming the tide of people leaving our state. I will lead our state to prosperity with a unique and ambitious legislative agenda. Vote for me for governor. Now that my opening remarks are over, I would like to actually call on some of the nationalists in the crowd. I would like to ask you guys what you would like to see the candidates talking about in this race, because that's what I'm all about, is listening to what you guys want to see happen. So can you guys raise your hands if you have anything you'd like the candidates to talk about? I see a gentleman back there. Well, I wish you the best of luck with that. I think we need the best candidates in every position. I see your candidate for governor, Noah.
College. I see a young man over here saying vote feds over reds, but you know, we're not feds, we're not maps, we're Boise State. That's what I'd like to see. Amen.
I agree with that. Now I've been telling people, we were assigned these two parties 2 days ago at random. So I don't think we should have any special commitment to our parties, but we should vote for the best candidate, whomever that may be. So thank you for that comment. That was actually very supportive. Logan.
Logan Creighton, Braxton College. I was speaking to some nationalists alongside Party of we were speaking in America. I want to know in a couple of words what your thoughts, like what you think of America and why in a couple of words do you think this is the greatest country on the face of the earth?
Well, that's a great question. I would like to say, first of all, America is the greatest country on earth. We have a current political climate on our country where we don't say that enough. We have a lot of people who don't say that enough. So America is the greatest country on earth, and I can tell you that because we have the oldest still functioning democracy in the world. We have the greatest democracy in the world. I think the institutions that were set forth in the Constitution have persevered for over a quarter of a millennium, which is a very unbelievable thing. And that's what makes the United States of America a great country. Can I see any more comments from the Federalists? I see one back there. Of course, that's actually a very important topic for our state in particular, West Virginia. I say we need an all of the above approach for energy. We can't rule anything out. And I think if we put ourselves in a box by going all in on green energy, or committing to the idea that somehow we're going to eventually phase out energies like coal, I don't think we can necessarily say we're going to phase them out because a lot of jobs are relying on that. Our economy, particularly in the southern part of the state, is really relying on those industries. And another thing, you mentioned natural gas, nuclear, geothermal, some other ones. I think a couple in like wind, solar aren't quite profitable yet. We need to still be investing in them, but right now coal is keeping a lot of people employed in the state, and natural gas is another great avenue that can provide a lot of jobs and can be a lot cheaper than coal. I saw one over here. Okay, I saw one back there. Well, our platform, the reducing of social programs, as it's officially stated, it's semantics really. What that's supposed to refer to is cutting waste, fraud, and abuse in the government budget. And what we're all about is making the government more efficient to work for the people. Because if we cut waste, fraud, and abuse out of many of these programs, that allows us to fund many, many other things that could be much more useful than funding wasteful spending. I see one back there. Kick two people out. Let me tell you this. We need to have a smart approach to these programs, but we also need to be compassionate. We need to understand that we need to give people a hand up, not a hand out. And the more people we have participating in the social, economic, and political life of our country, the better. And I think we need to reform them, make them more efficient, not to kick people out in the streets, but to actually help them. I saw one in the front row.
Great answer, sir.
Well, I mean, what we want to do is prevent people from abusing the programs, and so we want to, make sure they're not abusing the programs. But at the same time, we're not talking about cutting the program, like the budgets for the programs themselves. We're talking about cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, targeting people who are abusing the program, but because there are people who really need it and who can really help provide a better future for, and we support that. I'm sorry, can you say that again? You're referring to welfare still? We're not, let me be clear, the party platform is probably worded poorly in that area. We're not for cutting the general overall budgets of social programs. We're for making them work better and by eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. We have a lot of untapped potential in this state, and the biggest one I can think of is tourism. We have such natural beauty in this state, and it's completely untapped. I think we need to promote ourselves better to other states to make us more competitive around the country and around the world. I also believe that we need to diversify our economy because we're currently relying on sectors that might not be profitable in the future, so that's another good thing. Sir, in the back, I want to get to people who haven't had questions yet. I don't mean to be rude. Yeah, go first.
Personally, I depend on welfare and these help from the state, okay? We barely get any help. We barely make it. If it wasn't for American Legion my way, I wouldn't be here. What I would like to know is how you plan on going about finding the people who are using this. And how are you going to use the money? How are you going to get it?
Let me say this about that. I hear you, man. I hear you. I personally, my situation, I have a single mother working 2 jobs to put food on the table, so I totally understand where you're coming from. And I sympathize with it. I believe in being compassionate in terms of welfare programs, and I don't want to kick people out of the streets. Thank you.
Thank you. You did good. Okay. Thank you, Federalists. It's time for our Nationalist Party to present their convention. Again, you will have 25 minutes to present your party's platform and candidates. Again, it'll begin as soon as the first noise. Taryn in the front will be giving you an indication of how much time you have going forward. Are you ready? Okay, it's all yours.
We are Nationalist Party, and I am chairman of this party, Zhao Zitian. We are working to advance the issues that matter to you. Lower tax, education reform, marijuana legalization, energy, fighting drug addiction, infrastructure, and personal freedom. In West Virginia, we are facing a lot of challenges, and we need to find out the way to deal with them. Tonight, you are not only vote for the party you belong to, you are vote for this state. You are not going to vote for someone because he's your friend. You are voting for someone because you think they are the right person. We can say we are the member of 88 boys states. To your friend, to your family, to everyone, loudly and proudly. Tonight, you are making history, and we will make the world great again. Because of you, because of me, because of everyone sitting here. Coming up next is a poem.
I've been chosen to help nominate our candidates, show them up here, just help introduce them. So first up, we're going to have our Nationalist Commissioner of Agriculture nominee. All right. Yeah. The name of this man is Corey Brand. Cody.
Are you talking about brands that is recognition?
Yeah, it's Cody Brand. Can you please come up here?
All right, wow, there are definitely a lot more of you in here today. Thank you, first off, to my Nationalist Committee here. Thank you guys for giving me your vote. Yep, let's get it done, all right? And to you Federalists, all right, I want to go over some important points for my beliefs on Commissioner of Agriculture. Okay, I do have a formidable opponent. I will say this, Wayman, good job, way to run a campaign, brother. Good luck to you. All right. Okay, a couple things I want to hit on, okay? Everybody here in this front row for the Nationalist Party, okay? And everybody in the front row, everybody running for the Federalist Party, okay? We all need to work together no matter what. The treasurer is nothing without the governor is nothing without the auditor is nothing without me, yes. Okay, everybody, we're going to work together on this, okay? My beliefs are, we need to rely on ourselves first. You know, I'm born and raised on a farm, okay, guys? And the way we run it is, we look after ourselves first, and everything after that, we sell for profit, you know? And that's what we need to do for our state. We need to provide for ourselves first, We make sure that everybody here is taken care of. That means you, no matter what your color is. Alright, we're gonna take care of you. And whatever we have in excess, we're going to sell, bring in revenue for this state to improve our economy for everybody. Alright, that's one of my main talking points. I'm running low on time. I'm gonna hand the mic to the next guy. And remember, vote Cody Brand, Commissioner of Agriculture.
So next up, we have Nationalist Party nominee of the Attorney General. And as you can see above me, his name is Jack Finsel.
Jack Finsel. Who's that?
You know, the Jack Finsel. He's skinny, tall, has a yellow shirt on all the time.
Jack Finsel. He looks like a pencil.
Please welcome Jack Finsel.
That was great. Well, hello, Boy State. My name's Jack Finsel, as you just heard. I'm your Nationalist Party nominee for Attorney General. So I'm going to make 3 promises to you tonight. You know, politicians, they love to make promises, but let's be real. A lot of things in life are out of our control. We can't control everything. So every promise I make to you tonight is going to be something that I can control and can personally guarantee that I will fulfill. All right, so my first promise is that I'm going to work hard. You know, I'm going to work as hard as I can, non-stop, every day, once you elect me Attorney General. I'm going to work to end this opioid crisis, which has plagued our state for far too long and has not been addressed properly, which I think we can all agree on, yeah? Yeah? Thank you. All right, my second promise is that I'm going to be kind. Because, okay, we're here to win elections, we're here to learn. We're also here to make friends, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, I'm going to be nice, I'm going to be kind, I'm going to try and be friendly, okay? I want to be your friends, I hope you want to be my friends, so that's my second promise to you. My third promise is that I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to respect the law, I'm going to follow the law, because that's what the Attorney General needs to do, and that's why I should be your Attorney General. Thank you, vote Jack, vote Nationalist, thank you.
Okay, next up, the Nationalist Party would like to nominate Frank as our treasurer. And you know what? I'll be Frank. Frank's great.
That's not funny.
Hey guys, how's it going? And just want to thank everybody for last night, for standing in line for so long to vote for us and all the candidates on both parties. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, guys. I also want to congratulate Eric, wherever he is, for also making it. Great job, Eric. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about what a treasurer does. The treasurer is going to take care of your money and make sure it goes to the proper programs, okay? What I will do, I'm just your vessel, okay? I'm just your voice. You guys are the treasurers. How does the government make their money? There's really only one way, it's the taxpayer, you guys. You guys are the treasurers. So, whatever you want done with your money, I'm gonna do, okay? I'm gonna make sure our government uses its money effectively and efficiently. You guys are the source for it. I also want to tell you that I'm the money manager for the Lewis Cabin, and they know I worked hard last night to make sure I got all the transactions in, and I'm going to work hard for you guys. Okay? And I just want to let you know one thing. I have an idea for a program that will help us all, no matter what party. I think that if we have something set up where you can choose where you want to send your tax money to whatever program, be it DNR, Veterans Affairs, whatever, I'm going to try to get that set up so you can choose where you want your tax money. You are the voice. Well, I'm your voice, sorry. The vessel. You guys are the treasurers. All right? And I just want to end on this. I'm going to change up my slogan a little bit. If you want to make bank, vote for the tank. All right? Thank you, guys.
Thank you all, Frank. All right, next up, we have the Nationalist Party nominee for auditor. And that would be Connor Hall.
Who will be in the Hall of Fame?
All right, welcome Connor Hall.
First off, I want to thank my Nationalist Party for electing me to be their representative, sending off to the general public. I'd like to start off by saying we are one camp. We should vote for who makes the best decisions and who would best represent us in the government. One of my points here is I want to make sure I keep corruption and our corporations at this make sure they're not corrupt or anything like that in the state. And I'm going to work with our treasurer and our governor, whichever one's elected. Either party doesn't matter. I want to make sure we keep you guys safe and make sure everything is fair for everyone. Again, Connor for auditor. I just want to thank you guys for your votes and hope I get elected. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so next up, we have the Nationalist Party nominee for Secretary of State, Matteo Sarasoli.
Matteo!
Yeah, Matteo!
Alright, hello Boy State citizens. As I was introduced, I'm Matteo Sarasoli and I'm running for your Secretary of State. Now, the Secretary of State has many responsibilities. Among them includes keeping track of voter registration, working as the governor's right-hand man, and managing foreign companies in our state. Now, I'm a very stringent and assertive person, and I will not let any companies get by with any like bribery here, like a promises there. I will ensure that all companies operating in our state will apply to regulations and will not fall out of code under any circumstances. I also see myself as a very organized individual and balance several extracurricular activities at school, including being historian of my NHS chapter, president of Robotics Club, and a member of the marching band. So I feel like the organizational responsibilities of Secretary of State, I feel like I'm pretty qualified for those. All right, well, you know what? I feel like that wraps it up a lot. I am very qualified for this position, and I hope that you all see me as being so. Thank you.
Okay, and for our last candidate, I think it's time for a due change. I'd like to call up a candidate who ran for governor for us, for the Nationalist Party, but did not make it. He got runner-up, but he would like to say a couple of words before we introduce our governor.
Let's go, Garrett.
Hello, it's great to be here this evening. Let's see if I can not break this. Hello, everyone. I'm introducing to you today a man of the people, someone who has prepared their entire life for this position, someone who has seen many governors come and go and has learned from their successes and their failures. This person comes to you today, self-made, hardworking, open-minded, and a caring candidate. This person is ready to be fully and totally committed to being a voice for what you want. He is ready to be a listener. He is ready to continue working hard for you as he has already began doing, but now is your governor. As many of you know, I recently lost in the primary election to this man. And I can tell you right now that there is no man I would have rather lost to. Noah Samuel Zach Ouija is who I want. He's who we want. Am I not right? We want Ouija, right?
Yes, sir!
We want! We want!
We want!
We want! Let's go! Everyone, please welcome to the stage nationalist candidate for governor, Mr. Zach Ouija!
My fellow citizens, it is not often one has the opportunity to address a group of 400 of some of the greatest men he's ever met. However, we are not lucky to be here. We are here because we've earned it. Because we have distinguished ourselves as West Virginia's finest. We are here because our parents, teachers, principals, and Legion sponsors believe in us. I believe in us. I believe that with unity, we can make change. I believe that with unity, we can create a cohesive and very, very successful government. I believe that if we put our differences aside, we can create something beautiful. I am coming to you today not as a nationalist, not as a federalist, but as a citizen of Mountaineer Boy State. I'm coming to you today as a public servant, somebody who wants to represent you, somebody who wants to represent you. I'm running as your governor, not for myself, but as a Mountaineer Boy Stater. Together, we are Boy State, and together, we can create change. Vote for somebody who can represent you. So make sure you know the polls. Vote for Zach Weege, you guys. Vote for somebody who wants you to make a change. Somebody who wants your legislation. Somebody who wants your issues at hand. I want to hear all of your issues. I want you to see me. I want you to see me. I want you to come and see me. It is important to me. We're living in the most beautiful state in the country. I'll say, I love West Virginia just as much as the next guy. I do. I've got the band playing, Country Roads. That's my favorite song. One of my favorite songs. Bob Bender was great, man. Can you check that out, please? Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. But for real, you guys, we're all here to make a change. And like I said, we were chosen because we are West Virginia's finest. Each one of us is. If we were going to be here, we have to make a change. This is something I'm urging everybody to do. I want everybody in here this week to come up with some sort of bill, some sort of law, something that they hold really close to their heart, something that has a lot to do with this state. I know we all come from different communities in the state. I'm coming from Charleston, West Virginia, and we have our fair share of problems. Opioids, I heard everybody else talking about them, is a major problem in Canal County. Also, Cabot County, our next door neighbors, with Putnam County right there too. And so I'm urging you, make a difference, you guys. Get out there, talk to people, make friends, make this last forever. Because you know what? We have a chance this week to help West Virginia, and we can make something last forever. It's not hard. All we have to do is we just gotta trust each other. We have to trust that we can come together and we can make something great. Mountaineer Boy State, it is something very special to me personally. It's really helped my family out a lot. It's something that, as somebody in my party said earlier, I have been involved with it via my family. And it's really important to me that you guys get to create an experience for yourselves, that it can affect your lives just as much as it has affected mine. So please, when you go to cast your votes tonight, vote for somebody who you think will make a change. Vote for somebody who you think is going to stand up for you. Vote for somebody who's going to take your legislation all the way to the top. I see some hands. I wasn't originally going to take questions, but, I might as well. My opponent did. I think it would be good for my race. James, you're from Braxton.
Speaking as somebody that's been viewed as an underdog most of his life, I was wondering how you, who's almost self-proclaimed groomed for this candidate of your lineage, I was wondering how you could justify being groomed for governor.
Well, I don't know how that came up. I didn't really want to talk about this either because I don't think it's really that big of a deal. I'm sure that we all have parents who have been here before. Something that happened 30 years ago should not affect an election now. Look at George Bush. His father ran for president. I don't remember him talking about his father much. I know he refers to him as Old 41. That's pretty cool, but that's not important. I don't really care what happened in 1980. That's in the past. That doesn't matter. West Virginia, this is West Virginia now. I want to help with our problems now. I want to hear your issues. That's what I want. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do in this position. I'm here now. I'm making some money now. This is what I want. you know, it sounds like it's going to be complicated, but it really should not be that complicated at all, you guys. Opioids are generally prescribed to us for pain. That's how a lot of people get hooked. That's how a lot of people get addicted. What my party had my bad. What my party had suggested was a bill for marijuana. Now, we are in West Virginia. I don't think we're ready for that yet. We got to wait for the attitudes to change a little bit before certain things like that happen. However, I do believe that there are steps we can take. We can go into these communities. We can go into meetings. We can try to help people. We can go door to door, knocking on them, giving people advice, sending in counselors, hiring counselors. Our government can send some money to these areas, putting these programs together. It's really not hard. I mean, like Alcohol Anonymous. Those programs, those are what we need first before we vote for any legislation on marijuana or anything else. That's what we need. We need people going. We need people meeting people. We need to have news spread about this. I'm sure all of you know what happened in Huntington about 2 months ago. About, 30 or 40 people overdosed on a batch of heroin, right? Thank you, sir. And that's a major problem, and things like that happen all over the country. But it gives West Virginia a really bad rap, so I just think those are some ways we can help them. Tyler, you've been raising your hand for a while.
I know it says opium and all that stuff, the drugs and stuff, but what are you going to do with healthcare and schools and veterans? What are you going to do for them?
Well, I mean,
The school system, it's botched.
if any of you know, West Virginia, we are dead last in education. And me, as a West Virginian, as a proud West Virginian, I'm not too proud of that. I think we are a lot better judging by the men who are in this room today.
Amen.
I know we're a lot better. Here's what I'm going to do, guys. Here's what I think we should do. Instead of ripping Common Core out completely, because that will just only make it worse, we have to slowly reform these policies. We have to create legislation that's going to go into these schools, investigate administrators, investigate these teachers, because I think a major problem is the teachers who are there just on salary. I don't think they really care about the kids. Look at our ACT scores. Our average ACT scores in the low teens. That's not good, guys. It really isn't. And so, if these teachers cared a little bit more, and I know that there are lots of teachers who do care, but, that's what we need to do. We need to go into the administration buildings. We need to file legislation that will help with these problems. And health, you did ask about healthcare too. Here's what I think about healthcare. We are one of the oldest states in the union. And we're getting older too because all these young people are leaving, but that's a totally different topic. With healthcare, I think a major problem is how expensive some of these drugs are that people need. How many of you have grandparents that are on prescription medicines? Just raise your hand. Raise your hands. Do you know how many people in West Virginia have to, stress every day about their family members getting these pharmaceutical drugs? It's terrible. It really is. And so we need to form legislation that is going to go and be a voice for these people. Be a voice for these people who need our help, who need our support, who need our state's money. And they really do need our state's money. You all talked about, entitlement programs. Those are also social programs. We need those for a lot of our people. There are people abusing them, but we need them in West Virginia. It's really big. Nathan? Your question.
I would just like to say back to you were talking about McDowell County. I live right next door in Mercer County, and we're leading in hepatitis. I forgot which one in the entire state. Hepatitis from needles being used for opioids and all of that. And I can tell you, shuffling money from the state is not what's going to solve the problem. We need to find economic things that'll push our
Well, that's something else. Specifically, our platform talks about the state's economics. I want to go in, I want to open up more opportunities for people. Because, when you live in these communities where you don't have a lot of opportunities, it's very easy to turn to drugs. It's very easy to just let that occupy your time. So I want to create legislation that's going to help small business come back, help create jobs, help, you know what I mean. Brian, what's your question? Here's what I'm going to do for the veterans. The Legion is pretty prominent in West Virginia. I myself know a lot of veterans. If many of you don't know, we've had a pretty good showing of our veterans, and I'm very proud of West Virginia for that. I just think we need to support them more. I think attitudes are changing a lot towards veterans now, and I find that pretty appalling, honestly.
honestly, because they make a big sacrifice for us. So, you know, I just want to get the word out. I want to put out legislation that's going to help them become more recognized. Make sure that they're recognized. Make sure that, you know, they get what they need. Zach, what's up, man? See you back there.
You said that the opioid addiction wasn't, if it wasn't a problem, if it was simple to fix, what has stopped it from being fixed already?
Here's what stopped it. I think our legislation. I don't think there's much going on in our legislation, guys. That's what's stopping it. We need to change.
state candidates other than governor, the way the debate will work is I will present a question to one candidate. I will present to the Federalist first. The Federalist will have a 45-second opportunity to respond. The opposing candidate will have a 30-second opportunity for rebuttal, and then the original candidate will have a 15-second opportunity for response. So it's very, very quick. We should make it through the state candidates other than governor in approximately 20 minutes. So sit tight, take note, and enjoy. Our first question goes to the Federalist candidate. The Federalist Party platform supports the reduction of social programs. One of the most beneficial social programs the youth of our state utilize is the free or reduced lunch program. As the chief agriculture official of the state, your office administers farm-to-table programs that would be significantly impacted by cuts in social spending. By supporting policies that reduce social spending, the chances are very high that childhood hunger would greatly increase in our state. What role do you think the government plays in assuring the most vulnerable in our society are protected? Once again, the question for your response: what role do you think the government plays in assuring the most vulnerable in our society are protected? Federalist candidate.
All right, the government plays this role by using these social programs. We don't exactly want to cut them completely out, but we do want to limit how they are abused. I want to support agriculture, and I want to work for the little man to boost our economy, and hopefully we can help people become more self-reliant where they just need these programs to help themselves get back on their feet, so we can cut these programs down farther and put this money toward bigger and better things to improve our state.
First off, I believe the free and reduced lunch program is a wonderful idea for the young students of this great state. We definitely need it, and as Commissioner of Agriculture, I believe that the government should have a large role in taking care of our youth. We need to make sure that they are fed, we need to make sure they are well taken care of, and we need to make sure that they can be successful in their own life. And first off, that starts with letting them have food on the table. They got to start, guys. They got to have something to eat to give them energy to get them going.
Yes, sir.
15-second response. 15 seconds to just respond to.
Yes, I do agree our youth do need energy, but what I want to do, I want to help promote agriculture and the economy so we can get ourselves back on our feet. We do need energy to do that. We're going to use these programs to make sure we do have the energy, but we need to get ourselves back on our feet.
Second question is to the Nationalists. The Nationalist Party supports legislation and taxation of marijuana. As Commissioner of Agriculture, if elected, how will you use your office to advance this agenda, and what specific policies will you pursue?
All right, well, this is a simple one, okay? Marijuana, I am not completely for it. However, my party is, so I will stand behind them. It is a good opportunity for revenue in this state, okay? Not only just for the sale of it, the taxes, guys. We need that for all of our programs. Everything. It will cover, it will help the Board of Education. It will help everything the Treasury Department takes care of. And not only will we tax the citizens in the state, we know this is going to bring in a lot of revenue from tourists and people coming into the state, so we will also make sure to tax them just a little bit more to help bring in extra revenue. Thank you.
Marijuana does, I do believe, need to be phased in, but what do? You got to grow it. That's agriculture. But I want to cut out the big pharmaceutical companies, let the little man grow it and make bank to boost our economy.
All right, yes, the little man is important. We do need to make sure that our small businesses are taken care of, but that leads to increased regulations on the little man. We're going to need somebody to keep an eye on this, so I am pushing for some larger companies to have a little more say in it.
That's it.
That's it? All right, thank you. Hey. Oh, my bad, boss. Good luck.
Next up are the Attorney General candidates. Once again, first question to the Federalist candidate. Equality for all is a prominent platform plank of the Federalist Party. There has been much debate on this issue and the role equality plays in our society. What specific equality issues will you address and advocate as Attorney General?
So for equality, I believe that we should push the acceptance of people with mental disorders. We should push for people disabled vets especially. A lot of disabled vets are in my town, they're homeless. I believe we need to be doing something about that. I believe people in poverty, they need to be taken up, they need to be raised up to where they can get back on their feet and be a functioning part of society once again. And I believe in equality for all people. Thank you.
So yeah, I think we all support equality, but oftentimes when we talk about equality, we confuse equality of opportunity with equality of results. And what our party is for and what I am for is equality of opportunity. I think everybody deserves a fair shot at making themselves in this great country. But that doesn't mean everyone should end up at the same finish line. We should have the equality of opportunity, and people using their own ambition and talent should be able to make it what it is of themselves. So don't let that get confused, and I think, as much as I like him, I think he is confusing the two. So be sure to not to confuse them and support equality of opportunity. Thank you.
Of course, I am talking about equality of opportunity. Like a disabled vet fought for their country. They gave up their they gave up their security for us. That was an opportunity that they took. Disabled people, they don't have a choice, man. It's what we need to do is we need to protect the people who gave up all they had for us. Thank you.
The Nationalist Party has chosen to focus on fighting drug addiction while advocating for legalization of marijuana. As Attorney General, how will you balance these two policy priorities?
So yeah, this is a great question. I think, undeniably, the biggest problem in our state right now is the opioid crisis. And how are you going to beat this crisis? Well, there's a lot of steps you have to take, but ultimately, the people on the ground are going to be the ones who solve it for us. The local police, the officials, the local people. And they can't do that without funding. And so once we legalize marijuana, we are going to have access to all sorts of funds that we previously just couldn't. And we're going to use that money to combat this plague, which plagues our state to this day, and it continues to get worse. And that is how we are going to beat opiates, and that's how we're going to make our state better. Marijuana, it's not great, but it's not as bad as opiates, and opiates are the problem, and that's how we're going to beat this problem.
I agree, and I believe my party agrees with the economic opportunities that legalization of marijuana produces. But with such a large opiate problem in West Virginia, wouldn't that open up more doors to people already addicted to drugs? We know they're abusing drugs in such a way. So I see the economic balance of it. We need to take baby steps. We need to make sure that these people aren't going to abuse it. We need to regulate it very strictly and make sure that people aren't going to abuse it when there's already such a big drug problem in West Virginia.
And yeah, believe it or not, I agree with that. We want to regulate it. We want it legal, but we want it regulated and controlled. And that's how we're going to get good funds from it, and that's how we're going to beat the opiate crisis, which is the problem. Don't let anybody confuse you. Thank you. Vote Jack for Attorney General.
Next up, candidates for treasurer. Once again, first question to the Federalist candidate. The cost of college continues to rise. Your office administers the 529 College Savings Plan that allows families to save funds and enjoy the benefits of interest accrual on these funds over the course of a child's life. As treasurer, what incentives will you provide to aid families to increase college savings?
So first off, college funding is a big problem, and I think we have a lot of public colleges opening up, and I think we're working on the tuition. But as for savings for kids and families, we need to increase returns on that. We need to focus on making sure that they're saving in their hard work throughout 18 years of life. Make sure it comes back in full force and return to send that kid through 4, 6, 8 years of college as much as they need to do what they want and come back and help the state. I think we really need to help our young people and give them a reason to stay here. And I think giving more funding and more return on these people will definitely help bring them back.
Fortunately, we're in a state that provides a great program for getting money to college that we know as the Promise Scholarship. I think we should take advantage, all students, of this scholarship, which pays by the lottery for our schooling, okay? And we have to remember, though, however, that college isn't a right, it's a privilege. It's a privilege to go to college. College is something that must be worked for and earned. Thank you.
So basically what you're saying is that the best we can do for our young people and our stuff is one single scholarship that they have to work hard for. I think saving up for 18 years to get these kids into college is enough work to get them a decent degree and a good career.
The Nationalist Party is seeking to lower taxes in our state. The state's rainy day fund has been a source of stability in the bond market, providing for much lower interest rates on public bonds. What policies will you seek as state treasurer to prevent the use of rainy day funds in the pursuit of a balanced budget?
I think one thing our platform stands for is lowering the taxes. Lowering the taxes on individuals and on businesses puts more money in your pocket. More money in your pocket means a better economy. Same for the businesses. Less money the business has to pay, the more jobs that they can open, and the more that they can pay you. I also think with this plan I mentioned in my speech of an option where you can pay what taxes you want to pay to which organizations you want, whether it be education, Veterans Affairs, DNR, whatever you like, and you prioritize what taxes, where you want them to go. I think that's a very important thing.
So I want to bring up a big point. West Virginia, we have been known for balancing our budget very well. This year, 2017 to 2018 year, we are worrying that we have to declare a $500 million deficit. Now, you guys slammed, and we focused on how the Federalists were going to cut social public programs. But with your lowering of taxes, you guys are going to have to cut 10 times more programs than we are, without possibly being able to lower them nearly meaningful enough.
In my opinion, in the words of Ronald Reagan, the best social program is a job. And the only way to get that is to reduce the taxes on businesses and on individuals so they can open more jobs, provide more opportunities for West Virginia to make more money. Thank you.
Next up is auditor. question to the Federalist candidate. If elected as auditor, how will you use your oversight responsibilities to assure that social programs that are in place are utilized and not abused by those who rely on these programs?
Well, I think the most simple answer is mandatory drug testing for people on welfare. But we cannot just throw these people who are on drugs out onto the streets again. I have a cousin who's addicted to different drugs and stuff. I don't really talk about it that much, but he's in rehab right now. He lives in Kentucky. I think we need to invest in rehab, and also because I'm in charge of making sure everyone uses it legally, their money legally, and I think that we have to make sure that that the government agencies are not just giving it to people that are abusing the system, and that's how you use it. That's how you determine it by drug testing. So thank you.
I believe Jack made a lot of great points. I think drug testing is a great idea, but to make sure that we do not cut our welfare programs and make sure that we don't get the wrong people off of them and make sure everybody continues to have these programs so that they can continue to live their lives, we need to make sure we just go out and when they're being interviewed for these programs, make sure there's nobody lying or anything like that, and make sure that everybody is given a fair choice and option to have these programs and everything like that. Thank you.
I think how good of a society is judged by how well they treat the most vulnerable people. And I think that we need to ensure that elderly people and children have access to social programs, and that is something I will stand for wholeheartedly. So thank you.
For the nationalist candidate. The Office of the Auditor is the Chief Financial Integrity Officer of the state. As state budgets have tightened, more needs to be done with less. While there have been no reports of fraud recently, what will you do to assure that taxpayer funds are protected and spent wisely?
That's a great question. Making sure that all the taxpayers' hard-earned money is put to good use in the state government is something that we can make sure we do. I would do that by making sure that no corporations are letting anyone do anything wrong with the taxpayer money. I would make sure that every candidate for state position is being fair and being trustworthy with their choices for the different programs that they put the money towards, and there are no bogus programs that we just are out there and they're just funneling money into and losing money. So I just want to make sure that happens, and thank you.
I think those are some good points, but part of our platform is ensuring that emergency services have a lot of funds, and I know a lot of you live in rural parts of West Virginia. I live in Wheeling, which is not rural, but there are parts that are very rural, and my mom's friend, their house was on fire, and it took 25 minutes for firefighters to come, and they had to move houses because it was too destroyed. So I think that we really need to invest in our volunteer firefighters that they put all their lives on the line for no pay, and we really need to work for them, and I will work for them. Thank you.
Firefighters and EMT services are definitely someone we should work for. But to make sure we do that, we need to make sure we can allocate the funds appropriately and effectively so that everyone gets there. I would do that and make sure, and I would stand for our EMT services and firefighter services. Thank you.
Next up is Secretary of State. Question to the Federalist candidate. Many states are passing laws that require voters to present a photo ID in order to cast their ballot. Do you feel that in the Federalist Party's pursuit of constitutional enforcement, you will seek the passage of a similar law here at Mountaineer Boys State?
That's an excellent question. To vote, you have to be a legal citizen. So a way to prove that you are a citizen is an ID. That's that simple. If you're not a citizen, you shouldn't be here, so why are you casting your vote?
So I believe the Jacob made a lot of good points. I mean, really, there's no negative to it. I mean, being required to provide a photo ID will only ensure that the voting process remains clean and legitimate. And really, I mean, there's no negative to that. That's something that I can get behind.
Preventing an ID can also help cut down on voter fraud, because if we have a list of all IDs that are presented and there are more names that are in the voter pool, then we know somewhere something went wrong.
Question to the nationalist candidate. If elected as Secretary of State, as a matter of personal freedom, will you advocate for a change in the state code that presently does not grant voting rights to convicted felons who have served their time and have since been released?
Well, now, one of the main purposes of having a prison is rehabilitation. And for those who don't have life sentences, when they're released, it is assumed that they have been rehabilitated and are then fully functioning citizens of society, and therefore should have every right to vote. Once they're back in the economy and in the nation, every decision that political officials make affects them, and they should have a say in those matters. So yes, I do believe that individuals who have been convicted and have served their time and are back into society, who have been rehabilitated, should have a say in the voting process.
I do agree that convicted felons who have served their time and have been rehabilitated should have the right to vote, but I do think since at once they did break the law, they should have to take periodic morality tests to make sure that they are adhering to their rehabilitation and will not harm the citizens again.
So in regards to the mention of a morality test, I mean, that should be necessary because they have been rehabilitated. I mean, obviously in the future, if they do commit another crime, then they will be, go through due process of law and be determined if they need to be back in prison. But I don't think that will be necessary. I believe that they've been rehabilitated and they should have every right to vote in the election process.
Please take a moment and give all of the candidates a round of applause for a terrific debate. Now, if we can have our candidates for governor to take the stage. Out of respect, I do ask that you hold applause or other comments, cheers, jeers, whatever you might have, until the end of the question period, so that way as so not to use time during one candidate or the others speaking, so as not to interrupt them. So please abide and please respect. Once again, our first question will go to the Federalist candidate. There are a number of Federalist Party platform planks that will increase government spending overall. What areas or programs will you seek budget savings in order to balance spending and not cause greater fiscal insolvency over the next few budget years?
responsibility in programs which have historically had problems with fiscal responsibility. Programs which need more accountability, so it can be sure that our money is being spent well, and there's less waste, fraud, and abuse. And those programs can include a number of social programs, but I want to be clear, I do support social programs. I support lifting people up by the bootstraps. I support a hand up, not a handout. That's what I'm all about. I don't want, however, that money wasted, because the money spent on people who aren't using it properly is money that's not being spent on people who really, really need it. So there are a number of programs we can look at in order to improve the budget situation of our state. And furthermore, we don't need to cut them wholesale, because those programs are keeping this state alive. They're helping people, and I've honestly never seen a state cut its way to prosperity. So we need to cut them in a smart way. We don't need to cut haphazardly, but we need to make small incisions in programs that have historically had problems with waste and abuse.
Okay guys, so no programs are really mentioned there, so I'm going to give you one program that will not be cut, that will stay there for a long time, and that's the National Guard. I don't think you guys realize how much they actually do for our state, how much economy they really bring into our state. They do a lot statewide, for anybody who knows about them, to bring money into the state, to give people jobs. People who actually go into the Guard, they pay your way through school, and that's a big thing for this state because we're dead last in education. So that's one thing that we would not cut spending in, because they really do help with the economics. Another thing that I really don't think we need to cut spending in is tourism. For those of you who don't know, that brings in the most money for the state. And we are living in the most beautiful state in the union, if I'm not wrong. So that is something that I think should stay on. If you really think something else that we could put money into that would help is roads. More people would travel on the roads if the roads were a little better. So that's something that we definitely need to use. And maybe, we could cut our way through other places like, education. I think we put way too much money into education, and it's not helping the problem at all. So, listen, we keep putting money into this problem, but we don't do anything to solve it, okay? It's only making it worse. So, that's something else, and I hope it's a further question that he has to offer, but those are just some things that I think would really help our economies. National Guard, not throwing money into places where we're throwing too much money into and it's not helping at all. Those are just some simple things. And, I could actually explain that for you guys if you want. When we keep putting money towards programs and then nothing happens to it, that's just wasted money. When nothing good comes out of it, that's wasted money from our state, and we don't need that. We really don't need that. We are one of the poorer states in the union, statistically. We are, dead last in education, and it keeps getting worse. We are one of the oldest states in the union, so there's no young people working here. So we need to bring young people into the state by opening up, businesses and some other stuff.
Well, I appreciate the lip service you gave to the National Guard, but we actually included comments about the National Guard in our platform. We want to expand employment in the National Guard. We're going to raise wages for them to encourage people to come into our state. And furthermore, when it comes to education, I just want to make a quick comment. You mentioned earlier investigating teachers. I want to say this right now to be clear to all of us. Teachers are the most underappreciated, underpaid, and they deserve our respect, and I demand that everybody give them your respect. Thank you.
I'm glad you brought up teachers. That's an excellent point. It's not about disrespecting teachers, but can somebody explain to me why we have one of the lower ACT scores? I mean, teachers are the one teaching us, right? And a lot of these people are still in our schools, and they're not really doing anything. And that's very important to me. So yes, I think that some of these teachers who are just hanging around and not really doing much for our students, I think we should ask them questions. I think we should bring new ideas. I think we should hire new teachers who have ambition, who want our state to succeed in education, so we are not dead last anymore. That's all I'm saying.
next question to the nationalist candidate. At a time when states across our country are battling with increasingly large budget gaps, the Nationalist Party is promising lower taxes if they are elected. How will lower taxes impact this major budget issue that has caused government shutdowns at state and the federal level?
That's an excellent question, sir. Do you know anything about small business, guys? We need to stop taxing the small businesses because that's what's putting a lot of people out of work in West Virginia. You go down to places like McDowell County, Mingo County, Mercer County, Jackson County, that's very good, Summers County. So many small businesses are going out of business because these communities are taxing the crap out of these people. So, that's something that I think we all need to look into. Something else I think we could look into is, a food tax. That would bring more money into our state instead of lose money, because we don't really pay one. Another thing that would help our state out a lot is what I was talking about with our party's marijuana bill. I don't know if you guys know anything about what happened in Colorado. They took a 20% tax within, I think, a year or two, like $450 million. If that happened in West Virginia, that would be a year and a half. That's all it would take to get us out of our debt. And that's all we need. So just think about things like that when you want to get rid of our debt, help our budget, because the budget crisis in West Virginia really is our biggest problem, because that correlates with everything else. That correlates with our low education, being dead last. That correlates with our opioid problem. All of that. It's all about the money. It's all about our impoverished state, and those are things that we can do to help fix it.
Well, I just want to note that the question was not addressed. The Nationalist platform does call for tax cuts, and I find it's unique, actually. This is the only political party, only state political party in the country that is actually, it's not supporting tax and spend, it's supporting cut and spend, which is coming at two ways at the budget and taking away money from it. Because you're getting less tax revenue, and you're spending more on programs, which is going to blow the deficit wide open, and that's just numbers, that's just facts right there. I believe in fiscal responsibility. I believe we need to be smart with our budget, and cut and spend is not a smart plan for Boise State. That's a disastrous plan which would have disastrous effects on our economy. Now they are proposing a massive infrastructure plan. I haven't gone into much detail, but it's a massive plan. They want to cut taxes. I'd like to know how they're going to pay for it. I'd like to know where the money's going to come from for a massive infrastructure program. Now, in regards to marijuana, we still haven't gotten a clear answer whether my opponent supports recreational marijuana or medical marijuana. And if he only supports medical, well, I think we all knew he supported recreational marijuana 12 hours ago. So I'd like to know why he backed down from that.
Alright, here's something I have to say. I'm not backing down from anything. What I'm simply stating are questions that need to be answered. Everything needs to come slowly. You cannot hit a state with something all at once. First we would go medical, and then eventually as attitudes started to change, we would go recreational. And because of this, we would have tremendous economic prosperity in the state. Now, what we would really need to focus on that, and yes, I would support it in the long run as it would continue to develop our state. What we need to focus on is the social issues, and I hope this can be addressed at a later time tonight. Thank you.
The Federalist Party is seeking unity in the state. What areas of disunity do you see and hope to remedy? And what steps will you take to assure that the state emerges unified after the election?
Well, let me talk about unity, because my entire campaign has been about unity. Most of the time I spent campaigning with nationalists. I've been talking to members of the Nationalist Party, asking them what they want me to be talking about. Because I want to hear what's on the people's minds. I want to know what everybody wants to see from this next administration we're putting together. And I think in terms of party unity, I would like to announce right now, if I'm elected governor, I will nominate half of the people to my appointed positions be nationalists. So I would like to announce that right now, because I want every person here to have an equal voice, and I want both sides to have an equal voice in my administration. I want to bring the parties together. I don't want to divide us any further, and I want to collaborate with people. It's not my way or the highway. I want to listen to what you have to say and incorporate all of your ideas into what we actually pass in the coming days.
First off, I'd like to say, I bet you told a lot of feds that you were going to appoint them, and for those of you who are going to do that, I'm sorry. But here's how you really achieve party unity. You find a common ground. You find a common ground on the House floor, on the Senate floor. The governor has to work together, because every party is not going to control each floor, and that's just what's going to happen. So you need to keep, level head. And you need to find common ground. You need to propose legislature that's going to benefit everybody in that party, that's going to benefit the people that support that party. And that's something that our state hasn't done a very good job of. That's why it takes so long for our legislature to produce anything decent. And so that's just something that I think we need to look at. We need to look at the fact that maybe we just need to keep it cool, we need to cooperate with each other, and we would really produce some amazing things here in West Virginia. I know that we can do it. I know that we're all very smart. I know that we're all very, very committed to one another. We're very committed to the state. And if we just work together and work for each other, not work against each other, we can really help with that. Some other ways to achieve party unity are to just go out, talk about our other candidates for offices, talk about the good things that they can bring, talk about what they want, talk about what they want. Do not talk about what you want. That is not how you're going to achieve party unity at all. When somebody hears you come up and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to do this, and this, but they don't hear anything else, and it's just your opinion, not much is going to happen. You need to find a common ground with everybody, be willing to share everybody's opinion, be willing to find a way to put everybody's opinion and make it correlate with your own, because that's how it's going to work. We need to pass legislation for everybody, and that's the only way it's going to work, you guys.
Well, I agree to that. We need to bring everybody together, and that's why throughout my campaign, I've been asking questions, doing more listening than talking. Whenever I stand up to make speeches, I ask the crowd, what do you guys want me to do? Which includes the nationalists, as you saw tonight. I'm committed to having a government that incorporates all broad viewpoints that we have here at Boise State. It's not going to be a government full federalist, let me tell you that.
Anyways, I'm just going to say, I think we need to have a government full of federalists and full of nationalists, but more importantly, full of Boise Staters, because we're not feds, we're not Nats, we're Boise Staters, and we're all one body. We need to move as one governing body. We do not need to separate ourselves between the two parties.
Next question is to the Nationalists. The Nationalist Party is seeking education reform. A major problem in our state is the recruitment and retention of qualified teachers to fill critical roles in math and science. As governor, what will you do to create incentives to attract and provide ongoing development for qualified teachers? And what will you do to form pay incentives for those who are at risk of leaving the teaching profession to pursue higher paying private sector jobs?
Well, to answer the last part of your question, we just need to allow these teachers to take the time to understand how important their job really is, because they're teaching America, they're teaching American students, and that's what it's all about. More importantly, they're teaching West Virginia students, and if we can convince them to stay on by maybe offering incentives like having the school help pay for their housing, having the school help pay for their children's books if they're sending their children to the school, having their children, if it's a private school or a public school, mostly private or public schools though, transportation, because some students who are going to public school still can't ride a bus, so some parents still have to take their children to school via automobile, and I think the school could pay for that, especially if they're teachers, because I know teachers always are sending their children to the same schools that they're working at, and so I would hope the school would offer some sort of incentives there. On education reform as a whole, I think, keep offering younger teachers, qualified teachers, teachers who want to help educate our children. I'm not saying teachers who don't want to, I'm saying teachers who are more eager are willing to put in all of the work to help raise our ACT scores, raise our SAT scores, raise our math and science scores. That's what's important. That's what's going to help West Virginians make a big difference in this world. And that's all I have to say about that one, you guys.
Well, I'm glad to see that my opponent supports teachers. I've always been big on supporting teachers. Like I said, they're the most underpaid and underappreciated public servants anywhere in our country today. And highlight to underpaid, you mentioned pay incentives in the question. I can't tell you, the thing I hear the most from teachers is they always make jokes about how they don't get paid well. I can't imagine why we'd allow our next generation of West Virginians to be taught to, why we would allow our next generation of West Virginians to be taught by people who weren't appreciated, who aren't getting paid what they deserve. They work hard. They really are the people who raise each generation. They deserve our respect. They deserve our respect shown in their salaries. And I don't want to just pay lip service to that. I actually want to raise teacher pay as part of my platform. And going on a witch hunt against teachers to find ones who might not be doing their job good enough, I don't think that's right. Another thing I think is we need to invest in early childhood education before kids can get to, because the second they get into kindergarten, they're already facing peer pressure, and they're already facing bad elements which can turn them down the wrong path. So that's the most important time to get to kids. I think we need to invest more than that. To sum up, I'm pro-teachers. I support teachers. I think they need to be paid in a way that indicates that we support them. And that's what I'm all about in terms of education.
You guys, I'm going to go ahead and say I don't think teachers are the most underappreciated public servants, because teachers are some of the most important public servants, and I think we all know that. We all highly respect our teachers. Our teachers are the ones who are shaping America for us in the future. The servants who are really underappreciated are state troopers. Those guys are making $35,000 a year, and they're getting shot at, and I don't think we look into that enough, but that's a different story as well. But definitely supporting teachers is something the Nationalist Party and I support.
Next question to the Federalist candidate. Statistical evidence has proven time and time again that increased social spending decreases crime, improves community life, and prevents students from dropping out of high school. The Federalist Party is seeking to reduce social program spending. In addition, your party wants to increase spending on EMS, security forces, and the National Guard. What policies will you seek to assure that crime does not increase, community life does not suffer, and high school dropout rates do not increase, which is linked to higher incarceration rates of prison?
Let me clarify once and for all what my position is in social programs. We need to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse in those programs, but I support social programs. I support programs that are going to lift up a new generation of West Virginians to a new prosperity, to give a resurgence and a rebirth of this state, which is in dire need of one. And I would agree, increased spending on social programs has proven to improve the social, economic, and political life of whatever jurisdiction it's increased in. So I do think we need to support social programs. in some areas expand them, but our party's platform in terms of waste, fraud, and abuse is make programs work more efficiently. Now, furthermore, I think, as I said before, investments in education is considered a social program. Education really is the key to it all. Let me tell you that. It's the great equalizer. People always call it the great equalizer because that puts everybody on the same page. Whether you're rich or poor, you all have a public education, and we need to support that. So I would go back to education. That's my main platform. That's my main platform in terms of social programs. I support education. I support teachers. I support early childhood education. I support providing more opportunities to students through education. Like I heard about this Boy State program from my school counselor. So I think we all, I think it's best if we all support social programs. I know I do, and I hope you'll vote for me because of it.
Well, first of all, social programs are important, and I'm glad that you're saying that. I know that's not your all's platform, but I'm going to try to appeal to both sides here. Social programs are very important, and one of the reasons these kids are dropping out of high school due to lack of social programs is because they're looking for jobs. But what they don't realize is when they drop out of high school, it becomes extremely hard to find those jobs, and this is how bad things happen. You get into, debt, even further poverty, drug addiction, you turn to drug use. So, this all has to do with our economy, our social programs, and everything. Education is a big social program, but it is probably the most important social program too. But when people are dropping out because their families, they are not getting the money they need to feed their, little sisters because their parents can't get a job or something like that, so they drop out thinking that they can do it, it's not going to happen that way. We need to find other ways to keep these social programs going, like social security in our state, welfare. We need to continue to put money into those things. We can just regulate them a little better. I think that's something both parties can agree on here, regulation of welfare. If we go and, I think drug testing, parents who are on welfare for a long time would be helpful because, we could really rule out a lot of things there. But mostly, if we just regulate them, just like I'm saying, a little closer, even social security, because a lot of people, I think, take this program for granted at times. Our parents have been buying into it for, 30, 40, 50 years now. Our grandparents have been buying into it for 60 years. Some of them are now getting that money back. And there are other people who are taking advantage of that and not allowing them to get their money. And so it all goes back to our economy, it all goes back to our budget crisis. And we need to bring industry into the state via, helping young people get here, allowing legislature, allowing commerce trades, anything like that to bring industry here, which will allow more money to flow into these social programs, allow more families to have even further economic opportunity, allowing more people at a chance for education, even further education via the Promise Scholarship so that they can go to college, because I know that's a lot of people are relying on. I hope I can get the Promise. I hope a lot of you can. I know a lot of us probably will. And that's something that's really important, and it's all tied into social programs. So social programs are very important, especially to West Virginia. We need them a lot. We are the first or second oldest state in the union, so social programs are really doing a lot for us right now. That's real, James. You could look it up on your phone if you want. When I say oldest, I mean people over 65 or older. That's what I mean, age, that's what I'm talking about. And that's where all the money needs to go, because we're very impoverished, and we need to bring young people here so that these social programs can continue to help the people in our state via education and things like that.
Alright, I would like to follow up on social programs. I know it's part of the Nationalist Party's platform, they want tax cuts. Well, let me tell you this, no state has ever cut its way to prosperity. You cannot cut down the economic potential of our state by cutting critical social programs. And I support expanding social programs like education. I don't think that we spend much on education. I think we don't spend enough. Programs like that I support. Other programs that were mentioned, Social Security, Medicare, I support. Social programs that build up our state. Thank you very much.
And we've reached the final question of the debate. The Nationalist Party platform identifies infrastructure as the goal that it will pursue. At a time when tax revenues are consistently down and state budget gaps are continuing to widen, what infrastructure goals will you pursue? How will you fund them? And what benefits do you hope to gain from those programs?
Well, first of all, I think one of our worst infrastructure, and it's been for the last, well, since Senator Byrd died, is our roads. Roads are very important to West Virginia. We need them. When Senator Byrd was here, by the way, and he was allowing money to come into the state, I think we were in like the top 5% of the country on the best roads. That's a real statistic. You guys can fact check me on that if you want, but I promise you, I'm right. So what we need to do is, pretty much, is taking money from other places in our budget, which is something that our government is really failing to do. We're putting money into all these other things. Like, we're continuing to put money into education, but we're not offering any problems to help it. So if we would just throw out legislation that will help education instead of putting money towards it, but offering no ideas, just letting them run with it, that's a big problem. We're doing that in other areas as well. So I think if we would really be more careful about where we're putting our money. We pulled a lot of money out of our rainy day fund, and now it's almost empty. That's something else that we all need to consider about our money as well. So I'm just saying, if our government was a little more smarter with its money, I think we could make a lot more changes with infrastructure. But it's not just roads that we need to change either. It's water, our waterways. They're very polluted in our state, and that's something that we need to consider, cleaning those up, providing clean water for all these communities. I know there are many communities in the state that don't even have running water, and that's something we need to consider. That's all I have to say.
I would like to talk about infrastructure, because infrastructure is absolutely critical to the economic development of our state. If our roads, bridges, railways are crumbling, then we're not going to be able to attract any businesses to our state, and much less any people. So I think we need to invest heavily in infrastructure. I'm very pleased to see, out in our current political climate, our own Governor Justice, a Democrat, and President Trump, a Republican, are both on the same page in terms of infrastructure. So I think this is something that could really unite Boise State here, supporting infrastructure, which can improve the economic development, economic opportunities available to our state. And I think that's something we can all get behind.
I'm going to go ahead and further solutions, because there weren't really a lot of solutions proposed there, just like praising our infrastructure. And our infrastructure does need to be very good. But other solutions are offering jobs to people, opening up jobs to fix our bridges, to fix our roads, instead of just letting them lay idly by while all these people are just wanting these jobs, all these coal miners who are out of business. We need to put them into business, and these are ways that we could, by offering jobs to fix our roads, by moving our money around so that we can allow for that infrastructure to be fixed via those jobs.
I appreciate the remarks made by my opponent there, but unfortunately he still hasn't explained how he plans to pay for a massive infrastructure program while cutting taxes at the same time. It's not possible, and that's why he's not going to address it. But cutting spend isn't a plan. That's taking revenue away from our government in two ways. So we need to support infrastructure improvements, support other forms of economic development, and I do agree, it could be a huge boon for jobs in our state, and we are in dire, dire need of them. Yeah!
Gentlemen, I've been on staff here at Mountaineer Boise State since 2000 after being a citizen in '99. I can without a doubt tell you this is the most successful debate we have ever had. again, a very brief round of applause to all of the candidates who took the stage tonight. Not only does it take courage, it also takes a lot of nerve to get up here and defend policies and talk about things to make your state better. At this point in time, I'm going to hand the mic back over. Go ahead and allow the gentleman to take your seats there. Thank you very much once again.